Hey folks, we're out on a bit of a windy day, but we thought it's now time to give you the final van tour, so let's take a look.
I've been living in this van now for nearly 2 months. We just stopped in a lay-by to make some lunch. We're heading for Vienna on a cold November day. We've done 2,000 miles, so I'm sure we'll find our way. We got the bare necessities, and so far it's been grand. Woken up to frosty grass, and we've woken up to sand. Living in this little van has helped me realize that I don't need a million things to live a happy life. Home is where the heart is. Home is where we are. Well, in here there's a kitchen, and in here there's a bed. I've got a place to keep our clothes and a place to rest our head. And we rescued young Delilah, the kitten from the east. We took her to Samoa to find a family. Home is where the heart is. Home is where we are. Home is where the heart is. Oh, home is where we are.
Alright, let me show you the front first. The front, at the moment we've just been doing some photos, so we've got the table up, but the front is basically 2 single cab seats. Now, originally it had a double and a single. Now we've gone in, swapped out the double for a single. That means we can put them on swivels. We've got 2 different types of swivels here. So we've got this one, which is a conventional, spins on the spot and works really well. Lots of adjustment. And then this one here actually offsets. So as you turn it, it offsets into the center slightly. What that means is it's easier to eat together rather than you ending up right over this side. Loads of adjustability. Normally this is packed away, it slides behind, and I'll show you that in a minute. Up top we have our storage. This is all about bedding normally, coats, everything like that. It stuffs right in there, and we can get all of our duvets and pillows and everything, and it's nice and easy storage. It's all insulated all the way down, so everything is kind of inside the van. No cold spots. The front cab, when we pack up at night, we've got insulated down here. Insulated cab window blankets, or insulated panels. They go onto all the windows. They've got a reflective side on the outside, and obviously all quilted, so it keeps it nice and cozy. No condensation on the windows normally, so that's good. We've recently put in these curtains. These are from Caravans. They black out everything. We wish we'd put them in ages ago. We've always just had like blankets or magnet cardboard up in the window. So anyway, they're really handy to have now. The van is essentially off-grid. We've got a 200 watt, or possibly 180 watt, it was so long ago, 180 watt solar panel on the roof. That's fed into a charge controller in here, which is this one here, which basically just keeps everything topped up. You can see the batteries are nice and charged, and really we never ever need to worry about power. If and when it's needed, we can connect up our electric hookup to mains power if we're on a campsite or maybe at home and we want to charge things up, but I can't remember the last time we did it. So on top of that, we've got our Sergeant unit. This is basically a way of distributing all of the power around the van. So we've got all of the individual fuses here, way more than needed. So there's lots of supplies here for additional bits if you wanted to add to the van. And it's all nicely labelled up. This side here is for all the 240. So again, if you were on an electric hookup, this is, you know, for if you wanted to, you could add in a heater or something on there. But to be honest, all we've got is a 3-pin plug for those times that we might need it. This is the little control panel. Really simple, just on off. Once the leisure battery is on, you can see here, so it's just under full. So these lights basically equate to different voltages. And if you wanted to, for any reason, if the leisure batteries were completely depleted, you can switch over to the vehicle battery. Not that we ever need to do that. On top of that, there's a switch here, which is an awning light. And also this is the pump switch. So if you want to turn that off in isolation, that's quite handy because it means the kids can't waste all the water. So we'll have a look at water in a minute. That is pretty much all of it up front. One of the biggest successes in the van were these 3 back seats. Now, being a family, at the time we were a family of 4, now a family of 5. There are not many vans which you can travel safely and belted as a family of 5 and bed as a 5. So I'll show you how these work, but basically they're out of a Ford Transit, small minibus style vehicle. So these were brand new, I bought them and fitted them. So you can see here, everything is independent from the van. We can take them all out. We can use this for whatever we want. So if we're just going away, the 2 of us, or if we were, that's never happened, if we were going away and I needed to put more tools and storage and timber in here, more likely, then I can just click these out and away we go. Loads of storage space in the van. Right, it is Joe's turn to show you the next part of the van.
I'll start at the top in the kitchenette area, and we've got our lovely storage for all our mugs. We've got grip mats, anti-slip mats in the top, and we have lots of baskets in here too, which is how we kind of keep everything together when we're travelling. We've got a lovely little worktop, and we've got a twin hob unit here. We really wanted an oven when we got this, and actually these are really expensive, these little ones, more expensive than the big ones, but for reheating meals that I've cooked before we came, or pizzas, or there's also a grill in here, so doing bacon and things like that in the mornings, it's really good. So it's one of our best buys. We've also got loads of little storage cabinets. We didn't go for drawers or anything, we just used baskets to keep all our cutlery together in the different sections, but they're really handy and they fit in all of our plates, bowls, pans, everything. It's really good. And then we've got our fridge with a little freezer in for the ice creams, much cheaper if you buy them in here, which is perfect size for everything that we need. You know, we buy regularly on a trip. Also, we went for a nice big sink because we're a family of 5, so obviously 5 hands to wash, 5 plates to clean, and we don't have a bathroom as such, so it also is our washing area for that as well. And don't tell, if you've got children, don't tell them that there's a toilet until it's absolutely necessary, because otherwise it's their favourite phrase. I need the toilet, I want the toilet. And they don't need the toilet, but woo! Perfect. Pull it out here to open it up, so then that keeps all the smells and stuff in there too, and then do your stuff and then close it up, and there's a little pump here to get the blue liquid in to clean and sanitize, and then that's that. And then this is also the steps, which is some little storagey bits too. Extra storage.
First aid kit on there.
First aid kit and shoes is what I generally try and stuff in there. But it's also a little stepping stone to when the bunk beds are up, so they can get up there as well.
Moving to the back of the van. First up, we got this fan, which is really, obviously it's not got its bit on the moment. This fan can blow in and out. So if we're cooking, we quite often put it on. If it's something steamy or bacon in the morning, we can put that on and make all the people camping next to us jealous. So as you can see, it opens and closes, and also it's got a thermostat. So in the middle of the night, when it's been really hot, we can just put that on and it will just kick in and out just a little bit to bring a bit of fresh air, or out. You can, you know, do it both ways. Let me quickly show you the bedroom area. So we decided when we started out in a van, the last thing we wanted to be doing is making up a bed at the front of the van or even at the back of the van every single time. Most of the time when we go away, we make this up into a double bed. It's a full-size double bed, and it stays like that because there's enough seating at the front, we don't need to swap it back. So this stays out as a double bed. There's simply the headboard this end which slots in between, and we can get a shot of that in a minute. And then above we've got bunks. So these bunks are simply made up of 2 aluminium tubes, which Joe has made some fabric bunks essentially that go into they're sewn in.
Handy stretcher if need be.
Handy stretcher, yeah. If you're stuck on a mountain, you could use this as a stretcher because that's essentially all it is. They slot into these beams that are anchored to the side of the van, and they stretch out. Now these are nice and strong, stronger than you think actually. I've spent a couple of nights up there when we went away with my brothers, so we've got 2 of those. The other one is down here, but we also pitched them high enough on the wall so that you can actually sit below or sit up in bed and you're not constantly, worrying. The other option is to put them along this way, but of course it wouldn't be long before the kids outgrow. There is enough space at the front of the van that you can easily put a small camp bed there. We've had a travel cot before. So again, just loads of options as far as keeping it mixed up. Now I know I've gone on about it loads in videos on the van before, but one of the main key design points for this van was to make it the Swiss Army knife of vans. So these come out obviously, and that is the easy part. The front seats all come out, those 3, and then when it comes to these bed pods, I designed it in a way that these sections completely can be removed from the van, which leaves you a full length cargo space. So we've picked up anything up to 4.8 metre beams in here. So inside the back door here you can see the other bunk just rolled up and tucked in there, and on the other side here we normally have a windbreak, fishing rods, anything like that. Big cubbies in the back here, at the moment just camera stuff, and this one here is much longer, goes all the way back in there for fold out chairs, beach stuff and anything like that. Insulation wise, again the videos back in the day will feature that, but the whole van is got solid insulation in the floor and ceiling, and then soft insulation in the walls, nice and deep all the way through, vapour barrier, a bit of a thermal break there, and then ply lined with our cladding. Back to basics, the van is a Citroen Relay. It's the L4 H2, which basically means it's the longest one, not quite the highest one, but it's certainly high enough to be walking around in. Being that it's that long, that's why we were able to do a living area at the front, kitchen area in the middle, and a bedroom at the back in zones, and not really need to constantly be changing and moving stuff around during the day. That was one of the big key points for us. So these seats swivel back round. Interestingly, the last time we went away, we needed a bed in the front. We faced these chairs towards each other, and they were level enough, and Eden slept in the front here. It almost feels car-like rather than truck-like, so it's a fairly conventional van. If you've ever hired a van, you'll know that nowadays they're fairly straightforward to drive. Lots of little cubbies, so coats and hats up here. Again, glove boxes, big sort of bins in the doors as well. One thing I haven't really mentioned in any of the videos in the past is the flooring. The flooring has worked out really well. It is a commercial grade wood effect vinyl. So it's Atco. I can't remember who's it made by. No, I'll put it on the screen now. It's basically the sort of stuff that's used in schools, hospitals and things like that. Quite expensive for what it is, but actually the fact that it's in one piece, no joins, absolutely solid. We've put pallets on here, wheelbarrows, cement mixers, everything. It just doesn't scratch, completely indestructible. So I think between Joe and I, we covered most of the van in that previous bit of footage, but there's a few little bits that I thought were worth mentioning if you're doing a conversion yourself, and things that, it's all in the details, isn't it? So you can see I've just set it up for the bed area. So really it's versatile back here. You can either have it as a full-size double bed and forget the bunks altogether, or of course you can put in 1 bunk or 2, or what I've done in the past is take out the bed pods and just use the bunks. So on the odd occasion I've slept up there when I've gone to pick up something that was using the whole cargo space. Even for the occasional time, it's fine for an adult to sleep up there. It's not the best, but it's still getting on for 6 foot wide. And although it's pretty hard to tell, you can see that with the blackout curtains at the back and the one across the top, you know, it gets everything blocked out, so when you're camping in the summer there's no issues there. But if we go into some of the finer details, let's talk about the upper cabinets. They worked out really well, and I think they're a nice feature of the van. What I didn't want to do is make the whole thing all wood pine colour and look like a sauna on wheels. So hence why we've gone pretty much basic, nice, clean white everywhere. Bit of a sort of tongue and groove effect on the walls, some painted cladding on the ceiling, but having certain elements of wood grain is kind of a nice way to do it. Another thing I don't think we mentioned is there's a gas locker. You can probably just about make out that metal box there. That is a vented gas locker, so it's vented to outside through the floor, and you can access it from behind these seats, so we can just turn it on and off. It's just a simple, you know, camping gas, 5 kilo, I don't know how big it is, you know, small little dumpy one. We've never changed it. You know, we've been away a handful of times and it seems to last for a good amount of time. Unless you're cooking a Sunday roast or roasting every day, you're not really going to get through much. One thing we do get asked is what do we do for heating? The answer is simply we don't. We haven't ever really been away at a time of year that's needed it. However, if you did want to fit one, you can retrofit, you know, a diesel heater, quite straightforward to do, and that could be done, you know, there's space to put it anywhere at the front there, and I think you can do them straight into the tank as well. Of course, that would just be an upgrade that you could get someone to fit for you. But really, because we've well insulated the van, because there's 5 of us, because we kind of cook before we go to bed, and we tend to use it just in the kind of spring, summer, autumn, then actually we just never found the need. But like I say, an easy add if you needed to. And I guess if you're on electric hookup, you could always just put it in a simple electric heater for those odd occasions you do need one. In a recent video I fit these catches. I was going to go all fancy with some brass hardware, but actually these are really great. They're just simple pop-out hinges, pop-out knobs, and they lock them in place so nothing moves whilst you're driving. The only thing I would say is if you've got an oven, then we just put a tea towel in between the racks in there because, you know, metal on metal, shaking around. Cutlery is another one. We always find cutlery in a basket with a tea towel on top. You don't hear it. But apart from that, there's enough noise going on in the van, whether it's the radio or the kids anyway. Not sure we went into details on the table either. We use oak engineered flooring to create a nice tabletop. We then use some hardware from a boating or yacht supply kind of company. It's a little bit higher grade, and also it's adjustable so you can go up and down. Of course, there's a slight height difference between the back seats and the front seats, so you kind of find a happy medium. But we've also done it, rather than kind of committing to screwing the base plate into the floor somewhere, we've just screwed it to a board, so we can move that board to the back. So you might have seen in those images we had table at the back, or table at the front, or none at all, and just eat outside, have a barbecue. The carbon monoxide alarm up in the corner there, just one button to press to make sure it's all got battery. And bunting, I mean, where would our family be without bunting? If you want some bunting for your van, well, you know where to find it. Jo's website, I will link to down in the description. She makes and sells just about every type of bunting, personalised, different sizes and all sorts. So if you want it for your camper van or wherever, head over there and support her. And Jo, of course, did the upholstery as well under the bed. So the back sofas that make up the bed are an IKEA memory foam mattress, which has then been cut into the 3 sections and upholstered. We also skimmed over leisure batteries. The leisure batteries are under the passenger seat. There are 2, and they're 110 amp hour, I think, each leisure batteries, and they are obviously connected together and wired in. Now the fridge is wired directly to them, so is the solar panel via the charge controller. Everything else is done via the Sargent distribution unit. In here there's also USB charging point there, so anything and everything can be plugged in there. And then in the back of the next one you can see those 2 3-pin plugs, so whenever you need that you can use it via hookup. We've also got an inverter. It's in storage at the back. We never really use it, but if we did need it in a situation where we needed a 3-pin plug, then we can just get it straight onto the leisure batteries and use it that way. And finally, on the outside, we haven't done a great deal to the van on the outside, apart from all those additions to the roof and the solar. So things you could add: awning, bike rack. The step we've got is a nice wide step, which we use and it works really well. But of course you can get integrated steps and electric steps. But really they're all things that are personal preference and you can add on whenever you need them. If there's enough questions from this video, then perhaps we'll do a question and answers video as a follow-up. Things like weight of the van. I think the last time we got it weighed we weren't quite finished, but of course a lot of the weight can be taken out if you were using it for something. I think it was around 2.7, so that gives you probably 500-600 kilo of payload once a couple of you in here. But like I say, if you take out the bed units, take out the seats, you're going to gain that as well. Right, let's jump back to the previous footage and say our farewells. So there you have it. That is our van conversion, which many of you will know we took several years to do. We've been doing it for 5 years, doing it bit by bit, and it's now got to the point that it's pretty much finished. There's always bits you can add, but we're happy with the point that it's at now. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you've enjoyed it, give us a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. There's endless videos. I couldn't even tell you how many videos there are. Anyway, we got there in the end. Hope you enjoyed that.
And remember, if you can, do it yourself.